Okay, hi everyone. If you're a first time viewer, welcome. We're in a different location today. This is my living room, or part of it anyway. My neighbors, or at least a few of the buildings around me, are super loud with the construction today. This is take 2, because the first one was just not good. Too much noise. They're sawing windows off on the side that, I usually record from in the second bedroom. So loud, so annoying. So hopefully the living room is quieter. You guys can hear me. Hello, hello, test. I think you can. Should be fine. And thanks everybody who's coming back. So, hi, it's episode 3 of my 2 tips, and it is March 22nd. The lighting in here might be kind of funny. I'm trying to, I've opened up the curtain, so hopefully there's enough light coming in that things are represented okay. Yeah, I'm wearing a Phaedra hat today. Ooh, wow, look at that hair. Yeah, you can't see that at all. Maybe. No, I don't think you can. But anyway, there's some detail. It's the Phaedra hat by Gudrun Johnson. I love this hat. I think I used Mirasol something. I will put it down here. I'm pretty sure it was like a wool alpaca blend. So it's a warm one. I usually wear this hat like if I was hanging around the house with this one sweater that I have because it looks kind of nice together, but it's too hot for that today. Yeah, I love the pom-pom on this thing. I did use a Clover pom-pom maker. I think it's the large size. No, probably the medium actually. And it's so full because this yarn is, it is plied very lightly, so there's 2 strands within the bulky weight of it, but it's not tightly spun at all. So when you cut it into a pom-pom, it just kind of explodes into it. It's great. Yeah, I'm not wearing any other knits today because it's warm in my apartment, so that's it. Yeah, not drinking anything fancy, just water, which I probably will have to get more. Yeah, little fancy in a wine glass, but it's just my normal drinking cup. Big thank you to anybody who is subscribed over on YouTube. There's now 50. There was 52 just before I started recording the first time around, so wow, 52 people already. That's super exciting. Thank you. Yeah, super cool. I'm excited about that. What else this week? Thank you to Shannon of SOXCETERA for mentioning me, for mentioning her, and Candace from PINFEATHERS and PURLS. Same thing. Thank you for mentioning me, for mentioning you. Every time a podcast does this kind of like pod love thank you thing, I love it. But it takes me back to grade school because I just start thinking of, the part of the I'm rubber, you're glue, whatever you say bounces off me and sticks to you. We're all rubber. There's no glue. Cheesy, but it's true. Wow, they're rhyming. That was bad, but so bad it was good. Maybe. Okay, let's get on. I only have one FO this week, and it's down here. So this is my FO. Fox. There is two. Definitely is two. Can you guys hear that? I don't know. They're sawing the window off, or the building next door. Didn't know that's how you remove windows, but I guess that's how they do it out here. But they're not blocked, these socks, at all. So they're kind of hard to show, but they're beautiful. And I think you guys can see all of that STELINA that's in there. It's great. So the contrasting cuff, heel, and toe is Sans Garn Sisu. I believe it's 100% wool. I think probably superwash. I don't know. I will give you the details. The self-striping yarn is Yarn Enabler. Super pretty. And it is, what's her base? I don't know what it is. Superwash. STELINA. And it is the Sugar Plum Fairy colorway, which is technically a Christmas one. But right now, there's so many cherry blossoms and magnolia trees blooming and blossoming. These totally fit with spring here in North Vancouver. I'm losing the light. There must be some clouds. Today's gonna be kind of in shambles, I think, you guys. We also don't have like an overhead light in this room. There just isn't one in here, but we're gonna trek on through. So these socks are now living, well, I can't even fold them as nicely as I usually do, but whatever, it's okay. They're living in my box of socks. So I found this box a while ago. Technically it's from HomeSense, but it's technically from a Winners. Same thing, I guess. So it's beautiful. I love this thing. It looks like an old book, which is, you know, vintage maps of the world. Totally looks like a big book. And in it are a bunch of socks. See? The green ones are usually in here, but I don't know where they are right now. Quite a few of these socks, actually. Which doesn't have the toe working. I'll show you them all. This pair. And this pair. Oh no. So 3 of these pairs. Oh, because I wore a pair of them the other day. That's why I'm like, there's usually 4 that don't count for the box of socks cow. So this pair I knit before Christmas. The week before Christmas, actually. I think I finished them Christmas Eve. Some Arnie and Carlos Regia. I say Regia. Regia to me. In the pink and purpley blue one. And then my Christmas Eve cast on socks are in here as well, which love this. This is the festive, yeah, this end isn't woven in, but I don't care. This is the Festivus colorway from Jinx Yarns. And it is on her, it's on her STELINA base. I don't remember what it's called, but, and I love this sock yarn. It is fantastic. The stitches, oh yeah, and there's the STELINA too. So the stitches are super neat, super tidy. I haven't even blocked these, and they look fantastic. I think if I could, and when I do, I will probably get some of, Now, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Laura about it. I think it is Laura. It's Laura. Of Jinx Yarns. I'll have to talk to her and see if it's her strong sock or her power sock that feels just as good as this, but without the STELINA for a sweater. Because I think it'd be great. And I think I will. Oh, I need to go close the door. I'll be right back. So I closed the bathroom door and the second bedroom door, so hopefully the sound of the construction is down. So yeah, if I get some, well, sweaters quantity of Jinx Yarns for a sweater, don't know which one, but I will definitely be custom ordering the lavender tea colorway. It's beautiful. It's like pinky purple, gray, mauve mixture. Oh, that's what I want. I want a sweater because it would be so pretty. But yeah, so that's my box of socks. What else is in there? Oh, I didn't show you this other pair. So this pair doesn't count either because I knit them before Christmas. On there. So there's a cable running down at the front on both sides. It's really cute. And this is Kaleidoscope Dye Works. And I believe it was a bamboo nylon base. And it's the blueberry splat colorway, which I absolutely love. If you haven't tried Kaleidoscope's yarn yet, Kaleidoscope Dye Work, you gotta do it. Again, I'm pushing the yarn. In a friendly way. In a friendly way. If you can't do it, just go check out her stuff on Etsy. Maybe, you know, favorite some stuff so later on you can treat yourself. I recommend it. And then I'll just show you all the socks in here. Why not? This one, which you can't really see because it's kind of dark, but is a Starlight Express, which is a belly button knits pattern that was done for the Canadian Crazy Train, which is kind of like a sock race thing, over on Ravelry. And I knit this pair using Kinfolk yarns. The fit of this sock is great. It's great. It is like a typical like heel flap and gusset. I hadn't done in a while. It had been a while since I did that. But it fits so good, and she's got a little bit of patterning. Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to see it because of the lighting in here, but yeah, whatever. It fits great. I love it. And the toe is like super cute because she kept some of the ribbing going down to the very end of the toe. You can kind of see it. Kind of see it there. It fits great. I think I might implement that on another pair of socks sometimes. We'll see how that goes. So that pair is in my box of socks. And there's this pair as well, which they're huge. Look at this. Like, they're ginormous. Like, even if I have them back here, it's huge. It is sport weight. It's the granola pattern by Tin Can Knits. Love this pattern. Knit these up super quick. But here comes the tip for the day, I guess. Read your patterns and don't be afraid to ask questions, because on this one, I think it was the leg length or the leg circumference in the pattern. The measurement for the sizes said, the biggest size said it was 8.5 inches, maybe even 9.5, something like that. My calves are bigger, for where I wanted these socks to hit. So I was like, I'll knit them, but no guarantees they're gonna fit. They might be gifted to somebody. Well, they fit loosely. So I think what I did is rather than asking a question before I started, I just cast them on and said, whatever, I'll just do them. But they're totally baggy. Like, they fit. Yeah, they do. But if I were to wear them, they'll kind of like slide around. They're kind of like house slippers, I guess now, which is fine. But so some patterns, which a lot of the patterns that I knit are for fingering weight socks, which is fine. I love fingering weight socks or sock yarn socks. But with this one, using a different size yarn and needle anyway was going to give me different results. But their description for the leg circumference, from what I can tell, is that it's the leg circumference of the sock when it's not stretched around your leg and calf. So just, you know, ask questions. I think I might go over to their thread over on Ravelry and just shoot off a question, say, you know, how did the sizing for this one work? Because my socks are a little loose, especially in the heel, like the heel on this one, you guys. So another heel flap and gusset, which is totally fine, but look at this thing. That from here to about here. That's the heel flap. That's 36 rows. It's huge. It's like 2 inches. I don't need 2 inches for a heel flap. Could I have stopped earlier when I was knitting it? Yes. But I didn't. Why I didn't, I don't really know. Because I could have. I don't know. I could have, but I didn't. So lesson learned on me. And hopefully if you guys are knitting this pattern or considering it, just think a little bit. Maybe I would even consider just picking the size with the cast on that's your normal cast on if you're doing fingering weight and see how it goes. Because I mean, if you are a sock knitter, you can probably just put in the pattern, the stitch pattern, and be quite fine, which is I think what I'm going to do next. But there's a beautiful kind of lacy checkerboard kind of thing happening, and then on the sides you get a beautiful little cable which then splits and you only do like half of it along the foot. They're really pretty. I really love them. I do want a pair that fit like a normal pair of socks. So just be cautious with your patterns. Read them and ask questions. It's totally fine to ask questions. It's not a bad thing. Wow. So, another whip. Let's see what we've got going on here. So I've been working on my F socks. Yep, I didn't say the full word. My fuck socks. Huh, snuck it in there. So this is the one that was cast on first. It's coming along pretty good. It's actually showing up really well in this kind of funny light. So there's two, like there's one word twice around the cuff, with 2 little hearts separating the words. I love it. I think they're fantastic. But I cast it on the second sock, and it's coming along too. I finished the whole charting, the whole color work already for the top. So they're coming. The only thing that right now is the leg is ribbing. It just goes so slow, but maybe after I finish filming episode 3 today, take 2, maybe I can get working on these when I'm editing and stuff. We'll see. Who knows? But these are being, oh shoot. My socks from earlier, the socks I finished, are going into Candace's cow, the stripy socks cow. put that information there. And then these ones are going into Shannon's cowl. That's the colorwork cowl. Oh my gosh, can't talk. SOXCETERA colorwork cowl. Yeah, so that's that. What else have I worked on this week? I pulled out something that I haven't worked on in a while. So, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, and if you've checked out like my Ravelry project pages, wow, it's so dark. It's not this dark in real life. But this is my walnuts and lavender sweater. Lavender and walnuts? Walnuts and lavender, I don't know, whatever. I call it something like that on my Ravelry page. It's coming. I haven't really worked that much on it, but it's got this beautiful patterning. It's like cabled all over. Let's see if it'll show up. Well, it's kind of showing up. It's not great. There you go, I guess. So it's beautiful. It's all over it. I really love it. I'm just working away on the body. I was hoping when I first cast this on before the sock bug. What am I doing? Before the sock bug really bit me, I was hoping to have this done for Nessa's cowl, who is Vanessa of Kilt Craft. She's hosting a sweater, a long cowl that ends at the end of March. So I've got, what, a week and a half to finish the sweater. I could probably do it, but I don't wanna rush it. I've enjoyed working on this sweater, so I'm not gonna, you know, if it gets done, great. If it doesn't, I'm not heartbroken. Little heartbroken that I won't get to wear it as soon, but that's okay. It's getting warm anyway. The yarn I'm using for this, again, you're probably, it's a little more, I don't know, it's not true color, but it's a hard one to get to show up right. But this is BERROCO Vintage, which is wool, acrylic, and alpaca. I think that's what it is. I love this stuff. I'm actually considering it for another sweater too. So it's not super pricey. There's a good amount of yardage in skein 256, maybe. Something like that in the worsted weight, which is just the normal vintage. I really like it. It's really soft. I really like it. I've been enjoying working with it too, so hopefully more of that will get done. And that's living in my, oh boy, this one's a big one. So it's living in my Fawn and the Fox bag, which is a large size bag and has handles on it, which the handles on this are fantastic. I don't think really many of my project bags or any of my project bags really have a handle, which I'm totally fine with, but this one, because I knew I'd be toting around big projects like sweaters, and I've got skeins of yarn in here. I got my Grace cardigan in here because I wore it the other day to work. So I mean, it holds a lot of stuff, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the way she's put on the handles, strap thingies, it's so sturdy. I'm not afraid of this. Mind you, it's yarn. So, I mean, it's not heavy, but I do have a good amount of stuff in here, and I'm not worried about it, which is great. So that's my one bag, and then I guess I also started working on that sweater I mentioned last week that is for Aberdeen's Wool Company back in Lindsay, Ontario. Hi, Heather. But I kicked up a bunch of yarn last week after I podcasted, and I posted a picture to my Instagram, and I think there was the rest of the yarn for that walnut cardigan, which I didn't even tell you the name of it. Filming twice is hard. So that walnut cardigan is by Gabrielle VEZINA. I'll put it up, obviously. It was originally named the lavender cardigan when I found it, when she was test knitting for it, but she decided to name it the walnut cardigan. I think it's the walnut stitch. That's why. Beautiful, love it. But I started swatching for, what is it? From the way back. I can't remember that name. But anyway, the sweater I talked about last week with the shell ridge yarn. So that's pretty true. That brownie taupe color. Caked all this up. Yarn for the other sweater too. So there's 5 skeins of this, 3 of the Berroco. I also caked it up. I didn't skein it up. The one from Haven Yarns, because I want to use that relatively soon. And I also had caked up the one for the pair of socks, which is already knit. Yeah, so that was like a yarn caking party for myself, which was crazy. But this new sweater that I've swatched for, I don't know. So the stockinette part, let's get this out of there. Stockinette part is fine. Obviously no problems with it. I like the fabric. I think it looks well. Looking forward to seeing what it looks like after I wash it, just because I think it could maybe be filled in a little more, or maybe I'll have to go down in needle size, because this is already a US 6 4.0 millimeter. I could go down, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I started swatching the lace portion, and the sweater has a big lace panel. The whole back is lace. I'm having troubles, a lot of trouble. So I don't know. This looks, to me, this looks like garbage. I don't like it. I don't think this looks pretty at all. And it's not even, did I even do a full repeat? I don't even know. But the thing with this one is, and I don't think I'm giving anything away, because I'm sure other patterns use it too. And maybe it's a very common thing, but I've just never encountered it before. So swatching the lace part, goodness. There's 2 different types of yarn overs in the pattern. That's fine. I can follow pattern directions pretty easily, but this one is just weird. It doesn't sit well with my head. So let's call yarn over A. They have you wrapping it, I think, kind of counterclockwise from how I normally do a yarn over, which is fine. That one works relatively okay before you purl, because you end up bringing the yarn. So like as you're knitting, you bring the yarn towards you, which I call the front, then you wrap it around, and then because you've wrapped it around, it ends up at the front, so you can purl nice and easy. But then they want you to purl after you yarn over, but you take the yarn to the back, and then you wrap it, and then it would end up at the back again, so that you almost have to wrap it twice, and then purl. I don't know. If that's what I'm supposed to be doing, I don't want to do it that way. Only because I feel like when I was doing only those, 4, maybe 6 rows on the swatch, it wasn't flowing nicely at all. And I think I would probably want to pull all of my hair out. I'm going to try it again, or continue on trying, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, maybe it was just the day I started swatching for it, it just wasn't kind of working out. So hopefully this next time does, and we'll get the sweater on the needles. But that so far is living in another Fawn in the Box bag, which is my first one that I got from Mara. I love this thing. So yeah, of course, there's moose on it. There's technically moose on the back too, but, and I knew about this. Their heads are cut off. I think it's kind of funny that their heads are cut off, actually. It doesn't bother me in the least. I've got 4 moose on the front. Yeah, love this bag. It's the same size and holds just as much as the one with the handles. They're the exact same. So if you're looking for a large size bag, like this one right now, 5, 6, plus a few other goodies in there. I think if you're somebody who's knitting a cozy memories blanket and you have a crap ton of minis and you have like a decent start on your blanket, or even not, these would make great sizes for them, because you could just, every time, if you're swapping minis with people or using your leftovers, like just chuck them all in there, because there's more than enough room for probably most of what you would need for your blanket, I would think. I don't know. But yeah, so that's in there. And then I got some yarn in the mail. I'm super excited about it. It's just more yarn. Yeah, more yarn. So I completely indulged in buying some yarn. So I have been watching and following both the Cozy Knitter, who is Christina, and the Yarn Enabler, who is Amanda, who have now started a podcast. I think they just released episode 3 last week, so episode 4 for them is coming out this week, and their podcast is Die Another Day. Yeah, I think that's right. They're great. I love having 2 people on the screen to watch. They're pretty great to hear them bounce things off one another. My goodness, my tongue is not working. Yeah, they both had new colorways that they were kind of announcing and showing off for their Etsy stores. Yarn Enabler had some great ones. Amanda, they were great. I resisted. Only because I went and got 3 new skeins of self-striping yarn from Christina, the Cozy Knitter. So I've been thinking for a while that I need to knit a new pair of socks that are Easter sock colors, because I have a pair from my grandmother that she knit for me years and years ago in kind of all pastel-y blue, pink, purple, green, whatever they're in. So I got this one. It's called Bunny FUFU, and you got to pick your mini skein with it, I think. I can't remember what the choices were, but I chose the lilac one because I'm obsessed with purple, so I think this will be a really cute pair of socks. Am I going to have them done for Easter? No, Easter's like this upcoming weekend, so could I have them done? Yes, but I'm not casting them on. I shouldn't say that out loud because I probably will cast on the pair of socks, but so that was one. And here's her label. There you go. It's all of her information there. Super pretty label too. I really like that. So that was the Bunny FUFU. And then I also got, what is it? Suits Are Not For Everyone. I love like classic color combo. Oh, there, that's pretty good. Love it. And it also came with a mini skein, so I chose the teal because that should look pretty wicked together. That'll be super fun. And the one that I was most excited to get. Are you ready? Are you ready to see it? I totally meant for it to come up on the other side. So this is her Blue Jays kind of inspired colorway. And it came with a mini too, which is kind of like a navy. It's almost kind of like a blacky navy. I don't know. I think it's navy. I love it. Anyway, doesn't matter. So this is Come Together, which was the hashtag that was going around for the Jays last season when they did really well and were potentially going to go to the World Series. And I think all of Canada was like out of their mind because it'd been what, 20 something years maybe? Yeah, 22 years since they made it. This year, James. Let's go. So I think this will probably be the next pair of socks I cast on, only because the season's gonna start relatively. I don't even know when it starts. Spring training's already going on. But if I could have these for when like the official season starts, I'll have game day socks. How great is that? And they're totally going to be for me. Andrew, I asked him if he wanted a pair because I probably would have bought him or Skeen for a pair of socks for him as well, but he does not wear wool socks, so I don't have to knit man-size socks. I'm kind of happy about that. I mean, would I love it if I could knit him a pair of socks? Yes, but I'm not heartbroken that I can't. It just means more great socks for me. So that was my yarn mail this week. That was pretty much it. I think I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about. I can't remember if I've talked about what the whole my 2 tips thing is, or where my head was at when I kind of came up with that for my blog. So my 2 tips is a play on words with my 2 cents. My 2 tips works really well with me in knitting because in order to knit you need 2 needles. So everything that I produce with my big hobby of knitting comes off of my 2 tips. And I've always liked helping people, giving people advice or figuring things out. So from time to time, when I give little pieces of little nuggets of wisdom or advice or help or cautionary tales, it's one of my 2 tips, I guess. I'm not guaranteeing that they'll be in every episode. Really just kind of depends on how the week goes in between each little podcast. But yeah, and if you guys have any suggestions or any questions, I opened up a thread in the Ravelry group, so feel free to ask me anything if you want it, you know. I'm more than happy to answer on the podcast and in the group if that's easier for you to have somewhere to kind of refer back to and get the answer outside of the podcast. I don't mind. I would probably do that anyway. So chances are if I answered on the podcast, I'll probably write up a little spiel in the thread anyway, just so that whoever answered the question, and if other people want to kind of refer to that information, they can easily. Or I guess I could also just say, go check out episode whatever it's in. We'll see what happens. If you guys have any opinions about that, feel free to let me know. Yeah, so that's kind of the whole my 2 tips thing. Yeah. I also wanted to give you guys a little bit of information about me. So I want to talk about my day job. Not because I have to, but I think it just really kind of helps me get a little bit more of me across to you, if that makes sense, a little bit. You guys can know me better. So I am a registered massage therapist. I have been registered since 2009, where I originally was registered back in Ontario with the CMTO, which is their governing college, because in Canada we are registered provincially. We're not a nationally recognized profession yet. Now that I'm out in BC, I am registered with the college out here, which I believe is a CMTVC, I think. So I have a registration number and all that good stuff. Yeah, so I registered back in 2009, which coming up on July 3rd, I think will actually be my 7th kind of anniversary of being a massage therapist, which is crazy. So I've been working for almost 7 years now. I'm turning 28 this summer after that fact, so it's crazy. I've been working for a long time. And I would say from a young age in my career field, which is awesome. I know a lot of people haven't had that opportunity to have that happen. So I think, luckily for me, it worked out. I chose well. And it's something that I really love. So massage therapy is great. I absolutely love it. I love the actual work that I do. It's creative. It helps people. It teaches people. What's not to love about that? So I love that. I really do. And it also, I think, feeds into my personality quite a bit. Can I knit every day? Yes. But knitting to me is not repetitive. Yes, you might be knitting, purling, yarn overing, doing the same stitches, but depending on what you're working on, it's never quite the same. So that to me, I love it. So when I'm working, even if I see you every day for a massage, which, wow, that'd be a lot, but let's say I see you every week. Your body is technically the same body that's coming in, but your body is never always the exact same. Your muscle tissue can feel different, your attitude can be different, your life situations can change drastically in a week or in between sessions. So it's always a changing environment, which I love. And I think, treatments might be similar from week to week, especially if we're working on kind of like a chronic issue, like somebody's chronic neck tension or, I don't know, headaches or whatever, shoulder impingement. We're technically working on the same things, but we're never doing the same stuff. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. And the creativity too is something that I really, really love because I have my style of working. And I have my own little toolbox of skills that I've kind of acquired over the last few years. I've taken, I use the terminology from Ontario because that's where I got my training. So I use, as a healthcare professional, we have to continue our education. And the easiest way I found to do that is just to take courses and keep adding these skills to my repertoire. So I've taken some athletic taping courses, kinesio taping courses, soft tissue release courses. Most recently, I've started diving into craniosacral therapy and their courses, which that stuff's pretty awesome. Mind-blowing stuff, actually. So I really love getting to do that with some clients. But I bring that stuff to the table, which other people who haven't done the courses don't. So whichever treatment room you're walking into, you get what that therapist has brought to the table on top of kind of the base registration certification. Yes, you have the skill set to offer massage for people. Yeah, so, and that kind of tied into, I don't think, anyway, I'm not like a big, oh my goodness, it's so soft, I can like rub it on my face, it's so soft, because to me, it's not. My face isn't as sensitive compared to my hands. Because I work with my hands, they're very, very sensitive, and they've gotten crazy sensitive over the last like 7 years, 10 years, because I went to school for 3. So yeah, my hands are crazy sensitive. So are my elbows and like my forearms, but whatever. So for me, like, yes, yarn is soft. Like, this sweater has like merino and alpaca, and it is super soft. To be honest with you, they feel about the same against my face, and they're not the same. They're not. But by my hands, I can tell. Like this, I believe it doesn't have any nylon in it. This does. It just has this different feel to it. I can feel a different fiber. So when I'm working on somebody's body, I can feel the difference. Do we learn how to feel the difference? Yes, but do you really hone into it after you've been working for a while? So I can feel people's skin. I can feel skin and adipose, which is fat. Skin, adipose, muscle, scar tissue, skin, adipose, muscle, fascia, and all that good stuff. Which is really neat. And you know, if you've had a massage at some point, you probably go, well, what does that feel like? What are you feeling in there? Well, your muscle's tight and blah, 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 blah. Well, okay, but how do you know it's tight? Well, not only do I know what happens to a muscle when it gets tight, there's a lot of, so muscle fibers cross in kind of a nice normal range. But when they get tight, when you get something called like a knot in your muscle, they tend to become overcrossed and kind of stuck. They're not really moving anymore. So that's, you know, it just feels kind of bunched up and not smooth and flowing like it should. I can feel that when I'm working on you. Huge tangent. Let's move on. So thank you all for taking some time to watch my podcast today, tomorrow, this week, whenever you have. Thank you so much for subscribing, for those of you that have, or if you haven't. If you do, thank you. Anybody who's a new viewer, I hope you like it. Come back next week for my usual space. Yeah, thank you so much. This week I wanted to mention the Legacy Knits podcast. I know tons of people have subscribed and watched them and have been mentioning them on podcasts for a really long time. I've just started checking them out recently. They're great. It's mom, daughter, Sue and Chelsea. They're fantastic. I like their little setup. I like the stuff they knit. I like the stuff they use. I like them as people. They're really fun to watch. And they're starting to host a stuffy along, which is really fun. I've never knit a toy stuffy or anything like that, so I'm debating it. We'll see what happens. Maybe I'll join in on that one too. Yeah, I think that's it for this week. I'm sorry if it's super disjointed and cutty, and if you guys can still hear the sawing from my neighbors getting their windows replaced. I'm sorry. Yeah, thanks, and we'll see you next week.